Human beings are really peculiar in many ways. And one of them is that most of us want to change the world in some way. We want to make it a better place for our friends and our family to reside in. But most of us, we just don't do it. Our lives become filled with the mundane, everyday tasks of survival, or we look at the immensity of the world and we think we can't possibly change it. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you should change it. You should choose to change our society or how you should change it. But I will tell you that sometimes just a little thing, one tiny little, very easy to do thing can make a huge difference. Maybe it's just standing up and speaking out or writing a letter to the people that can affect change in a way that you can't. There are a lot of metaphorically dark and scary places in the world. And sometimes it just takes one small person standing up holding a little tiny candle to bring enough light to start making even more and better challenges to that darkness. I'm sure you're all familiar with the butterfly effect. A tiny butterfly flutters its wings and there's a windstorm on the other side of the world. Wouldn't it be great if we could all be butterflies? Give us a call because the show's starting right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Truth Wanted. I am your host, Objectively Dan. This is the live call-in show that happens every single week, Fridays at 7 p.m. Central, where we talk to people about what they believe and why. And if you'd like to call us, you can do that at 512-991-9242, or you can call through your computer at tiny.cc/calltw. As always, Truth Wanted is a product of the atheist community of Austin, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the promotion of atheism, critical thinking, secular humanism, and the separation of religion and government. And every single week I have a guest. This week is no different. Kelley Laughlin is joining today.
I don't feel like that's such a special guest, but thanks for having me.
You are special, Kelley. I was like, should I say special because you are on, not because you're not special, Kelley, but you do frequent the show. So it there is a frequency there.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I'm a frequent special guest.
You're a frequent special guest. That's right. I like that. That's better. How are you doing, Kelley?
I'm doing all right. I mean, I kind of had a rough week, but I'm feeling pretty good tonight. I'm glad I'm here, and I feel good.
Okay, that's good. We were talking about what we thought the world would be like, and I was just telling Kelley. So I work from home, which is have been for the last year or so, which has been great. And so I listen to music and stuff during the day, and I'll have like YouTube recommend me stuff. And I had this. It's one of those videos where it'll play like, here's like an hour of what this channel was playing in like March of 2004. It was like Cartoon Network. And I was like, just letting it play in the background while I was working, whatever. And there was this album for Christian worship music that played that I got like weirdly nostalgic for, because I would sing the songs. We're not allowed to sing. I would sing them though, because every single song that they were playing on there, I was like, oh, I remember that specific rendition of that song. And like all of these things, like it's weird how I'm nostalgic for an advertisement on TV, especially one for, by the way, an album, which they never do anymore these days.
But it was part of your childhood, though. So that's why,
in a way,
that's why it becomes nostalgic.
Isn't that kind of sad that a TV commercial's like the thing I'm nostalgic for, though? Like not
Well, yeah, but you're nostalgic for other things as well. It was just that was the way it hit you in the moment. You're like, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid. Oh wow, yeah, I remember when I was a kid. That was awesome back then, right? Because the good old days for everybody is when they were a kid. It doesn't matter what decade it was. It was always when you were a kid were the good old days.
That's true. I was a latchkey kid, so I watched a lot of TV growing up. It was like I don't know. That was, I guess, part of it was just seeing the same commercials over and over again when you're watching the same channel. I don't know. What about you? Do you get nostalgic for that kind of stuff?
I do get nostalgic with a lot of some weird things. And I do. I'll watch YouTube and something like an old cartoon show when I was 5 years old. Will pop it, the original Space Ghost, right? To watch some of those, and they're so horrible to watch today, but I love them. Because they're nostalgic to me.
Now, what about Space Ghost Coast to Coast? You like Space Ghost?
I love that too.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is a funny thing, because like I feel like cartoons from the 70s, like just not a lot of them hold up super well. You know, That's true for other eras, I guess, too. But like, I don't know why,
especially a lot of that like mass-produced Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Right, all the Hanna-Barbera stuff. Yeah. They were doing like 1,000 different cartoons, and it was all just copies of Scooby-Doo.
I was about to say they were all teenage rock bands with a talking animal going around solving.
It was either Josie and the Pussycats or Scooby-Doo, except they're all Chinese, or they have a talking shark instead of
a talking dune buggy.
Yeah, it was some weird twist to it. I don't know. I don't know what was going on back then, but I guess because cartoons really were kind of considered a lower sort of, like, there wasn't as much effort.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And if you you found a formula that worked, which obviously they did with Scooby-Doo, why not copy it? Sure.
Yeah, this is kind of funny to think about.
Kids are dumb. That was basically the meaning, the idea behind it. Kids aren't that smart; they'll not figure it out.
Right. That's another thing that's changed since I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, if you watched anime, you'd be that was a weird thing. Like you sat at the weird kids table and you went to the weird kids sites. I don't know. But now anime is like super mainstream. I know a lot of normies that like anime or just like casually watch anime along with other shows. So I don't know. That's kind of a big difference too.
I remember living in a college town about mid-'80s, and the only place you could even find anime was this one specialty store that sold videotapes. That was the only place you could find any anime at all. Yeah,
I remember when it wasn't as easily accessible. I remember like finding a VHS tape and being like, Pat Labor, what the heck is that? And it's like just a giant robot. It's like, that looks awesome. Why don't I see that on TV? But then, Toonami, they had like Cowboy Bebop and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got all the Adult Swim.
It's all Toonami's fault.
Great stuff.
Toonami did it, I think. Anyway, that's not relevant to the show, but you know what? I'm glad we need to start on a lighter note, I think, because it's always heavy. We'll keep talking about lighter things, I think, in a second. But I want to bring in Eli Slack in a second here. Eli, what's up, Eli?
Hey, guys. How's it going? That was a quick second.
I was a quick second. I should have probably given you some more lead time here. Eli, you're a backup host today. Thank you for doing that. And I brought you here because you have our question of the week, don't you?
I do. I possess it. It's on my person. And last week the question was, complete the sentence. Due to the cesspool of social media, people now believe God is blank. And here are the top 3 answers. I'm going to point out, I went and checked all of the answers in the comments came from Chuck Gatos this week. So
again, my God, so Chuck, you're doing too much. MVP.
He is. He's the MVP. So Chuck Gatos, number 3, due to the cesspool of social media, people now believe God is fact checking for Twitter. Which I buy that one. Honestly, I'm close. I'm almost there.
That's not great. It's a funny joke. I'm saying it's a funny joke, but yeah, that's a little real. That's
not a good position to be in.
Right.
Yeah. Number 2, Chuck Gatos, once again, due to the cesspool of social media, people now believe God is postponing the apocalypse because Jesus is too busy debating on TikTok to start his 1,000-year reign.
Oh, man. Chuck, you're being a little too real this week, okay? I'm going to need you to tone it down a notch or two, okay?
Right.
All right?
I feel like the thing is that TikTok might be the place where Jesus could go and debate his own existence. He'd be like, here I am. And they'd be like, it's AI.
It absolutely would. The idea of Jesus having a TikTok account is really funny. But like, if Jesus did come back, like, would he have social media? You think he'd be on the apps? I don't know.
He used the available methods last time, right?
Yeah. Right? You got to communicate to the masses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Use the methods available.
What's our number 1?
Number 1, speaking of AI, Chuck Gatos, once again, due to the cesspool of social media, people now believe God is on vacation and left an AI to write the laws on our hearts, upon our hearts.
Yeah. Kind of feels like God's been on vacation for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming back either.
He hasn't talked to anybody in a few thousand years, has he?
He just went to get some milk.
I think that vacation's turned to a staycation. You know what I mean? I think he wanted to get some milk. Buy a pack of cigarettes. Well, Thanks. We wanted to be light and refreshing, and then Eli came in with the questions of the week this week and just, changed that tone for us. So thank you, Eli, for doing your job.
This is what I do.
Doing what we asked you to do. Really appreciate it.
You got it.
What's the question for this week?
Yeah, so for next week, the question is going to be, what is the least appropriate introduction for door-to-door soul winning? Kelly, do you have an answer?
I like that.
How about, have you heard the word of the hairy thunderer who drowned the world today?
That's pretty good.
It's strong.
I wasn't prepared. I didn't read ahead of time to think of a clever answer. I'm thinking that probably, though, it would be something along the lines of, I'd like to talk to you about my religion. Also, there's a timeshare, so like just a double and make sure that they won't listen to you. But,
the consultation is free.
Yeah, the cancellation's free. Anyway, so what about you, Eli? What do you got?
I didn't think I'd be asked. I kind of went a little bit down like the Danny DeVito route, like from It's Always Sunny. It's like, here, hello, we're here for the boys' souls.
Oh yeah, the boys' souls. That's a good bit. That's a good bit. I do like that. Well, if you liked our bits or you thought I can do better, you should leave a comment because, and if your name is not Chuck Gatos, you should definitely leave a comment. Although Chuck Gatos is always willing and we're always happy to have Chuck, but
always welcome.
I want to see diversity of thought here. So leave a comment below.
He's got no competition.
That's right. Give us some competition. The least appropriate introduction for door-to-door soul winning, and we might read your comment on next week's show. Thanks, Eli.
You're welcome. Have a good show, guys.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And maybe we'll see Eli again if one of us has internet issues. Who knows? Or if we find a caller that wants to speak to Eli or something, we're happy to do that too. But anyway, on the topic of nostalgia, I feel like there's a lot of nostalgia baiting these days, obviously, because, every TV show and movie has to do it because it's a safe bet, right? Which, also makes sense, but also kind of, makes you be like, oh, really? We're going to do a remake of this thing? Like, I didn't care about it the first time, not going to watch it this time.
Yeah.
Or like, talking about Cowboy Bebop, I was following that Cowboy Bebop remake for years, and then it turned out to be the worst one. Like, that's one of the worst remakes of anything I've ever seen. I love Cowboy Bebop. So I don't know. It just leads to more disappointment. There's a lot of, I don't know.
I was always a big King of the Hill fan, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed when they bring that back in August that it's going to be good.
That's going to be interesting. There's a part of me that's been like, if I ever do other stuff on YouTube, if I was like, did like video essays and stuff, because there's like nostalgia YouTubers, but then it's like, okay, if you're my age and you're doing nostalgia YouTube, what are you going to do in 10 years? Like, are you going to keep doing the same stuff from when you're a kid? Like, I don't know.
You're going to be watching kids who are 10 years younger than you, showing you your nostalgia.
Well, it's like, I hope I have things to be nostalgic for right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to keep thinking about, only this time in my life was good and was the best part, right? I don't know. It's a little existential in that regard, but yeah.
Is that what nostalgia is, though? Is it a connection to the good part of your life or just an earlier part of your life, Because
I think nobody's nostalgic for the bad parts, right? That's not a thing.
It can be, though, because like there was a lot of negative experiences in my lifetime that I learned a lot from, right? It was at the time it was really bad, but I look back on it and I go, wow, I'm really glad I lived through that bad part because I learned this thing out of it. So I still get this good feeling today out of that bad past experience. And I can be nostalgic. So, wow, I remember that time I was walking through the desert and I'd love to be back there today. It's a weird thing, but it's like you with the gospel records, right?
Yeah. I think it just ties you back to a time and place, I guess, right? I think that's what some of it is. Yeah. I don't know. Cause like the times where I think there's definitely bad times that I've grown from. And in retrospect, I guess I'm thankful for the growth I've had in those experiences. But if you ask me if I could go back to those times, I wouldn't. would not do it. No way, Jose. Absolutely. So I don't know. Maybe we're different in that regard, Kelley, because you're like, yeah, you bring me the challenges. I'll just do them all over again. I don't know.
I was one of those people who would always push myself when I was younger. Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. So you're a better man than me. I don't know.
That's not being better. That's just different.
There is growth through adversity. I will admit that, but like, I don't know if I'd want to go back. That's all I'm saying. Like if you gave me a time machine, because I'd probably just make the same mistakes. I don't know.
That's the thing. I always say I would love to be 18 again and know nothing that I know today. So I can make some of the same mistakes all over, because my mistakes and my failures made me more of who I am today than my successes did.
See, people say that. I also think that the good parts, the successful parts, also make me the person that I am today.
I'm not saying that they didn't help. I'm just saying that because I definitely had more failures than successes, so they had a big part of my life. They're a big part of me. Yeah,
I don't know. Like I've had, I'm in a good place in my life right now, I feel like. And so it's like, when I think about all the other time, like, I'm not gonna say most of my life is bad, but there are parts of my life where they're pretty bad. I wouldn't want to go back. I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep where I'm at and try to be grateful for it, but it's hard not to be nostalgic sometimes, I guess, you know? And I just worry if I look at a YouTube video of, I don't know, some video essay about a show I watched as a kid or a video game. I worry, you know, I watch it and I enjoy it, but then I worry. It's like, do I want to keep doing this? Because I don't know, what's the end goal here? I just makes me sad, right? Just makes me wish I was back. I don't know. There's something about that worries me, but I don't know, callers, maybe you have a different opinion from me on that. It seems like Kelley certainly does. You would go back.
I mean, I don't know if it's a different opinion. I guess opinion just is a way of looking at the world, right? I mean, sure.
Yeah. On that note, you know, this is a call-in show.
Oh, we should probably take a call then.
We could probably take some calls.
Wait, before we do, are we going to do a super chat challenge?
Thank you for reminding me. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have a unique one today, folks. So rather than a specific goal, we're going to say every $5. So instead of a dollar amount to get to, we're going to say every $5, at least $5 that you donate, we have to interrupt anything that we're doing, Kelley or I. If either of us are talking, we have to stop and give a random fact. Doesn't matter if we're mid-sentence or what. And if I see that super chat come up and Kelley is talking, I'm going to interrupt him and say, hey, you guys stop and give me a random fact. That's it. That's how it's going to go today. Okay, so if you gave your super chats and you want to donate that way, that is how we should do it. So support the show by doing super chats. And another way to support the show is by joining the Patreon, which I'm going to talk about right now before we get to our callers, because every single week, folks, we're always giving a shout out to the folks that donate on the Patreon. And this week's patron of the week is Paul Sherman. Thank you so much, Paul Sherman. And thank you to everybody that donates to the show. You guys rock. Shout outs to the crew because I'm pretty standard with that, but I'm a little off today, a little off beat. And they pick up on it. They're like, oh, gotta get that graphic, put it on screen. Shout outs to the crew for being ready for it. Anyway, we do have at least one person that wants to talk to us, and we do have open lines. So if anybody else wants to call in, they certainly can. But Kelley, you want to get started?
Sure. We'll pull them on up here.
All right, let's do it. We got Daniel, who's calling in from Canada. Daniel, who called in last week about the alien pictures that were sent in to us and that we talked about. All right, Daniel, you're back on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Yeah. Last week I used the screen name Jupiter 2.
Yes, you were Jupiter 2. And I might have said Daniel as well. I always try to say the name of the folks that call in.
Dan, I need you to give us a random fact.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. All right. We're already there. Thank you to John Paul C., who gave $5 and said, I'm a theist. I didn't read the next part there. It went away too fast. Maybe Crew can put it back on the screen. But let's see. Random fact. Oh God, where's my sheet? I had sheets. The Caesar salad was invented in 1924. Thank you. I'm a theist, but I love a random fact. Thank you, John Paul C, for that. That's your fact. Caesar salad, 1924. So anyway, what were we talking about? Oh gosh, that's really distracting. Okay. Yeah. So you called in about the aliens, Daniel, or the pictures. Oh my God, another one. Okay.
Yep, there you go.
$10 from Miranda Rensberger. Enlighten us with random facts. Okay. So winds on Neptune can blow faster than 1,200 miles an hour. Huh? That's kind of interesting and relevant because we're talking about space and planets and stuff. So there you go. Okay, back to the show. Daniel, you called in last week. You're calling back again. What can we do for you?
Well, I just wanted to respond to the. I think I may have left the wrong impression about the pictures that I sent in. Because there were two pictures, and the first picture of what I feel was a little.
Before you keep going, Daniel, you are really quiet right now. If you're on speaker or something, you should probably not be on speaker, but it's a little hard to hear you.
No,
It is a little low.
I got my earbuds in. Can you hear me better now? I got my earbuds in. I thought I was told to do that.
Yeah, earbuds are okay as long as they're on. I mean, I can hear you. It's just a little low. We could try to work it on our end, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought it'd be better.
No, it's okay.
No, I just want to respond to say that the first picture of the little, what I consider a little Martian being, I stand by everything I said, and we don't have to argue it again. I do think that is a genuine, like a photographic evidence, courtesy of NASA. But in your title of the show, you said I had photo evidence. This photo evidence is available to everybody. It's nothing that I have.
Well, that's more of a figure of speech. I wasn't saying that you literally had to take the photo. That's fine. I mean, if you're bringing it to the show, I know what you mean. Like, you didn't take that picture yourself, you know?
But the second picture, oh shit, the second picture of the alien, sorry. The second picture of the alien, my earbuds are falling out.
Oh man.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
The one with the hand holding the photo.
Yes, for those who didn't see. Let me also, I should back up a second for folks who missed last week's episode. We got sent two pictures. One of them was, in my opinion, a rock on Mars. The
as a
other
geologist, that was my
one,
opinion too.
Yes, and the other one was a picture of a guy in a suit holding up like a Roswell-looking type alien picture, and both of these were screenshots from YouTube videos. It was a screenshot of a video of a guy holding a picture, real in media res sort of evidence there. Anyway, continue.
No, I was going to say, I know that the second picture is it's the classic story of like your old uncle who worked in the military and who claims to be around Hangar 18, and he has a photograph of the alien on ice, and he just shows it to the person, and the person says, "Okay, let me take a picture of it on my phone." Or whatever. That's what it is. That's what it is. Maybe it's fake. I'm sure it's probably fake. I mean, my first guess is that it's probably a reenactment.
But Daniel, if you're sure it's probably fake, why did you send it to us? Like, why would you not give us something that you think is real?
Because I think there's a possibility that it's real too. Because it's a unique picture. I've never seen it before. And it's only come out recently, I believe, in the UFO.
Daniel, wait, hold on. You thought that was a unique picture? Because that looked like something you could get from a Halloween store. Like, Kelley, you agree, right? Like, that did not look particularly
it didn't
unique.
Look too different than this guy peeking out over here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why you see that as unique.
Okay, well, no, the picture, someone holding a photo like that, I've never seen that done before. Okay, we can agree to disagree. You know, it was a mistake. Okay, I should have said.
Okay, sure.
I just thought it's an interesting picture. I would like because a while back you were talking about like a skeptic guy who's like a special effects expert or something like that.
Yeah.
And he looks at alien videos and that. And I'd love to have his response to something like that too. So
I was probably talking about a guy named Captain Disillusion, who I personally enjoy on YouTube. You know, I think in my personal opinion, he has some content out there that is good for this kind of thing because he's a video effects artist by trade, and he does responses to videos that go viral for like alien stuff or other things. But yeah, I maybe he has a response to that already. I don't know. You'd have to look at that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's about it. You know, I didn't mean to make like I'm not going to die on the hill for that picture. I didn't mean to say. I never said that I thought it was real. That it might be. I still think I don't think it's as bad as you guys say it is. I'd like to get his reaction to it, but we can agree to disagree on that. Like I said, I've been calling in for a while now, and I try my best to make it a little different. I think we're kind of bogging down in the same discussions and that, and I'd like to maybe try to be different this year.
And you know what, Daniel? That's why I appreciate you. Seriously, that's why I like calling and having. I like it that we get to put pictures on the screen and talk about that because we don't always do that every week. That's fun. I quite enjoyed that. But I was shocked. I really was shocked because I've had several conversations with you, and I was like, this is what we're doing? Like, I would expect just a little bit more than screenshots from YouTube videos, man. Like, it felt really like thrown together. I don't know. I'm not saying you have to have a full essay for me, man. It's just like I can't do anything with random video screenshots. You know, I have to have a little bit more substance than that, especially if you can't tell me where they were from. That was another thing I was surprised at. You know, it's hard to have a discussion about anonymous pictures on the internet because they really just can come from anywhere, you know?
Well, the first
you can even make the pictures. You could even
you could have made them yourself
them.
For all I know. Yeah. I mean,
But hold it. The first picture of what I consider a little being on Mars, and I still
the rock formation.
For the fact that no, it's not. I still say you're falling for the orange and pink that NASA puts over everything on Mars.
Daniel, this is one where we are going to have to agree to disagree, and I know you are adamantly opposed to the idea that it's a rock formation, but that is all I see there. I do see what you are describing as a face. I can understand like where you might think that is an alien, but I don't see it. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. It looks more like a large block of sedimentary rock.
Did you try putting the magnifying glass in front of the screen and just magnifying it?
He did. Did you not watch? Did you not see the giant magnifying glass he had?
And not only that, Daniel, you don't have to use a magnifying glass. You can enlarge the photo.
Right.
You can actually use your computer to enlarge the photo. You don't need a magnifying glass.
I know that, Kelly. I know that, but it only gets to a certain point, and then it starts to blur.
Yeah, and the same thing, and the same thing happens with a magnifying glass. It gets to a certain point where all you're seeing are the pixels, and only that you're not seeing them as large as you're seeing them in the enlargement, so they're not as distorted as much, because you can enlarge them more than the magnifying glass does. So you're going past that point, and then you're getting your distortions. But you can get a clear picture at the same magnification as the magnifying glass.
Oh, Kelly, I got to interrupt you because we have another. And here's the thing. Miranda gave $10. I feel like that means we have to give 2 facts.
I got
NASA
one
is
ready.
cleverly hiding the aliens on Mars. Man, it goes by too fast. I can't read them by the time I finished there. NASA's cleverly hiding the aliens on Mars by posting photos of them on their website. So I think because she gave 10 last time too, Kelly, you should give 3 facts.
I should give 3. Okay, here's one. The Philippines actually consist of 7,641 islands.
Oh, okay. That is a fun fact.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Now, number two, if you were to take a one-way trip on the Trans-Siberian Railway, it would involve crossing eight time zones.
Ooh, that is a fun fact.
That's
I
a
like
good
it. You're
one
two for
too, huh?
two. What do you got for three?
There is enough gold still inside the Earth, we estimate, to coat the entire planet Earth.
Wow. Okay. Well, those were three very fun facts. Thank you. I think
welcome.
Daniel was about to say something.
Sorry, Daniel.
Okay. No, I just wanted to say one last thing on the magnifying glass. Kelley, I understand. You get the picture as large as you can on the TV screen, and then you put the magnifying glass, and you just magnify just a little bit. You just get as close enough before it distorts, and it does magnify just a little bit. It's nothing. It's not like a electron microscope or anything. It's just a little more magnified. That's all.
Daniel, I don't know if you're getting this, right? The photo is made of pixels. It's made of little dots, right? And no matter what you use to magnify it, when you get to a certain magnification, all you're going to see is those pixels.
Yeah.
You're going to lose all the rest of it. It doesn't matter the instrument of the magnification.
If
What
anything,
matters is the amount of magnification.
depending on the file format, digitally enlarging it will actually tell you more in some cases.
That is correct.
It depends on the file format, but like, yeah, it can absolutely tell you more than just what you would with the magnifying glass.
Okay, but you can only do that so much. Come on. It can only get so big before.
Daniel, you're not listening. This is something you can go look up. This is modern technology. These are things that have happened in the last 20 years. You gotta understand that we have gone far past magnifying glasses now.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my God, I realize that. It's just a little extra magnet. That's all. Okay, we'll drop it. We agree to disagree. Did you guys know? Did you guys?
No, we're not agreeing to disagree. We have gone far past the technology of magnifying glasses.
That's just a fact. Like
anything that you can do with a magnifying glass, I can do on my computer screen just as good.
I'll tell you this. I'm not going to have the revelation that aliens are real because of something I saw in a magnifying glass on a picture online. It's not going to happen that way, right?
I'm not expecting you to believe it just for that reason. It's just one of my points of evidence. It's a big universe, guys. Have you heard the theory that that our universe may be inside a black hole that have another even larger, like immensely huge universe?
Have you ever heard the idea that there's only one electron?
Yeah, that's true. That's a thing too.
The one electron theory. Yeah, have you ever heard that one?
Yeah. That's not a joke. That is a
no, it's not. It's really not. That's a real thing because an electron can travel through time. So that's one electron. It's in every single atom traveling through time.
Yeah. I mean, okay, like maybe we are in a black hole. Like, so what? I don't know. What am I supposed to do with that information?
It's a big old universe, and there could be lots. And I think there's lots of life out there, lots of intelligent life.
I think there could be too. I just don't think they're on Mars.
And I don't think we've seen any evidence of it yet.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's tons of more evidence of what I talk about. Like that's only the tip of the iceberg of there's anomalies, like there's a face on Mars to begin with, and then there's all sorts of what look like remains.
Are you talking about Cydonia on Mars?
Yeah, I think we talked about that before.
That's been debunked several times. I don't know why you would even bring that up.
Well, that's bullshit, Kelley.
Yeah, it is. It's bullshit. The face on Mars is bullshit. You're absolutely right.
He obviously thinks the debunking is bullshit, but why would you think the debunking is bullshit?
Because the picture is heavily compressed. I think is the term compression. Because there's an ESA picture, a European Space Agency picture, not long afterwards, and the face is still there. But on the right side, you see a little a wear and tear, or a little damage or erosion. And I think NASA took advantage of that time to make that bullshit picture, and everyone fell for it.
How can you change your mind on anything if you can just come up with a conspiracy for NASA to cover it up? Like how are we supposed to? How is NASA supposed to convince you of anything, of any of their findings, if they can just cover it up or change their mind or do these things?
And here's the thing too: if these guys, if they're smart enough to cover something up, wouldn't they be smart enough not to post that photo to begin with?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me, that they're dumb enough to post a photo, but smart enough to take it back down.
No, when it first came out in 76, around, I think it was 1976, NASA right away came out and said, no, it's just pareidolia. It's just shadows and light. And they said, we have another picture, we have another pass by, and there's no face.
Right.
And then everyone went home and said, okay, yes. How high to jump? Yes, we'll jump like just as you say. You know what? They never showed the fucking picture because there was no picture.
They have shown the picture. I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it too. What do you mean?
Daniel, it's 3:00 in the morning. You're walking down the street. You're on the edge of town. You see something black and it runs across the road right in front of you. It moves really fast across the road. Now, it could have been a chupacabra. It could have been. Or it could have just been an empty black trash bag blowing across the road. Now, when you're telling the story tomorrow to your friend, are you going to tell him about the empty trash bag? Or are you going to tell him about, hey, that could have been a chupacabra? Because that's the interesting story there. So when you're taking a story about a hill and you're turning it into a chupacabra, do you understand that?
No,
yeah,
no, I don't. I just said NASA lied about that picture. They said they had another pass by.
What was the motive for lying?
Yeah, no, wait, no. They didn't lie though. They posted another picture. Like they had another one.
No, two scientists came out and they wanted to see the picture. They wanted to see the second picture, and then they found it misfiled, and it was a face. It was another picture of the face. The face appeared a second time under a different time, under a different shadow, under a different sun, where the sun was. NASA totally lied about it, and no one ever said anything.
No, I have it right here on Wikipedia. It says a second image, 070A13, also shows the face was acquired 35 Viking orbits later at a different sun angle. Okay, yeah. The latter discovery was made independently by Vincent Di Pietro. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Resolution is about 50. More than 20 years later, after the Viking 1 images were taken, succession of spacecraft visits. Blah blah blah. Yeah, essentially they've taken a couple different pictures of it. But look, even on the Wikipedia, you can see like what the rock actually looks like in higher resolution, and it doesn't look like a face. You know.
Hey, Daniel, can I point out something? You showed us that picture of the rock from last week, the rock formation you thought was an alien, and you wanted us to make it into a better photo. Magnify it, make it a better photo so you can see it, right? You actually got better photos of the face on Mars, and you don't want to believe those either.
Yeah.
You're doing the exact same thing that you're accusing me of.
What better photos? You want in 2001?
The better photo of the hill that is the pareidolia of the face on Mars, the Cydonia face. We have better, higher resolution photos because again, Daniel, technology advances, right? We're now past that shitty cameras. We got better cameras. We can get better photos. We can get in closer with more pixels, and we can get a better photo instead of one taken from hundreds of miles out in space.
I get it. NASA lied. Remember the.
That is not a lie, Daniel. We have better technology.
Yeah,
that is not a lie.
There's other people that have taken pictures of Mars too. Like NASA's not the only space agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. ESA took a picture of it a while later, and the face is still there.
No, that's not. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got the idea that the face is still there, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you're wrong, Kelley.
No, Daniel, if you can prove that I am wrong on that point, I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you can show me a real photo from a real National Space Agency that says the face on Mars is real, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they say the space on Mars is real. I'm just saying you can still see it.
That's what I'm telling you that's because it's not real, Daniel.
Yeah,
it's not a real thing. That's why we don't have any more recent photos after we got better technology. Because once we were able to get better photos, we found out that the pareidolia was just pareidolia.
I disagree. That picture was photoshopped.
I know what you think. It's just that all the evidence points to the fact that you're wrong. I don't know what to say. I'm really sorry that the evidence isn't supporting your theory or your ideas here. But it's just not, Daniel. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I disagree. I totally disagree.
I know you disagree, but you haven't shown us anything yet that proves it. You've just shown us a bunch of questionable photos.
Yeah.
I know. And it's also proven that NASA will lie to the public. Like the paper.
Why is NASA lying to us? What's the motive for that?
Because it would open up a whole Pandora's box of other questions about what's going on with the UFO phenomenon.
Why would NASA care about that? What is the motive here? Why is NASA keeping aliens from us?
How about that?
We're getting off topic. I feel like I don't know. I feel like again, you've called into the show several times. I was disappointed by the quality of evidence. Even now you're saying, yeah, these pictures are great, which I agree with you. Right. So it's like, why not give me the good stuff? Why not give me the best stuff available? And you're saying you're not trying to change my mind. This is what the show is for. I want you to try to change my mind, right? Like, give me what you got here, and at least give me something to think about, or at least give me something to say, gee, I don't know. That's kind of strange. I don't know. But for the stuff you showed me, I was flabbergasted. It was just bad. There's nothing else to say about it. It wasn't good. So I don't know. It's like, would you accept if somebody said that demon possessions were real because they got one shaky cam footage of a guy acting weird or something? Like that's the kind of quality of stuff we're dealing with here. I just expected more. That's all. And I'd like to see more.
I was thinking of a YouTube video of a chair moving across the room. It's a ghost. It's proof of a ghost.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just don't. Yeah.
Anything, Daniel? Hello? Well, we might be having audio issues. I don't know. Daniel, I'm going to go ahead and let you go because it's kind of hard to hear you right now anyway. But, I don't know, man. What I really want to know is if NASA, again, I'm not saying that governments don't lie, agencies don't lie, cover things up. Absolutely happens.
Mm-hmm.
Things do come out and explain how and why people cover things up and do all these things and including with space programs. I'm not going to say that it's never happened. It's just like, you can't just say, oh, this is how they did it. They covered it up and not show any evidence of a cover up. There's evidence of cover ups too. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's just gonna, I don't know here, Kelly. I'm losing it.
I know. Yeah. One of my favorite things to ask conspiracy theorists is what's the motive? And because they usually can't come up with one. Yeah. This crazy thing is happening, but I don't know why. There's no reason for it. And I just don't understand why NASA would be keeping something like aliens from us when how much that technology could benefit us. Why I don't get it. They making some kind of financial deal? What's going on here? Are they feeding?
Yeah.
Are they feeding homeless people to them? Well, I don't get it.
One of the biggest issues I have with Daniel's worldview, and it's shared with other people who analyze the world in this way, is they look at the world of possibilities. Oh my God, there's a super chat. Yep. $6.99 from Bagel Bites. Since we went to the moon and send robots all over the place in space, we are the aliens. That is true. We are, in fact, the aliens. And also, did you know that Central Park in New York City is larger than the entire country of Monaco? So that's a fun fact, I think.
It is a fun fact. And, in Monaco, they don't pay any taxes. They make all their money off the state-owned casinos.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a double.
I just figured I'd throw that in since we already brought up the country.
That they gave $6.99. You got a little extra. You got a little extra on that. So there you go. What was I saying? They work in the world of possibilities. Okay, possibilities seem to be more important. We had a caller a week or two ago, right? Former Jehovah's Witness, and they were saying, well, I thought, I thought about this question about Noah's Ark, and here's the way how I could have made Noah's Ark work, right? And our criticism of it was, why even think the Noah's Ark thing happened at all? Why even go there, right? It's like you have to take an even bigger step back. And that's the thing with these kinds of ideas, the NASA stuff, right? It's like, oh, well, here's a possibility of how NASA could have covered that up. But it's like, why are we even thinking that they covered it up? Why is the official explanation not good enough? So yeah, I don't know. It can't be that every single official explanation of everything that's ever happened is untrue, right? Some of them are true. I think most people would agree with that. So we had to figure out how do we know the true ones from the false ones, right? But whatever. I'm over it. We'll see. Maybe we'll get a photo of a guy holding a camera, holding a photo of an alien or something.
There you go.
That's another thing. Daniel, learn Photoshop. I'm serious. If you learn how to use Photoshop and understand those tools better, one, you'll see how people do make images, right? Which that could help your case. You can say, hey, they can use these tools, but also like you will learn how to analyze images much better. Like you'll be able to see the gamma and all kinds of stuff, that you never knew was there. So I highly recommend try learning yourself. See what you can do with it. Anyway, Kelley, you want to take another caller with me?
Yeah, let's take the next one.
Okay. Before we do though, real quick, if you're in the Austin area, hey, follow us on Meetup, tiny.cc/ACA Meetup if you want to hang out, and also join our weekly watch parties at the Free Thought Library on Sundays for live viewings of Talk Heathen and Atheist Experience. Those are pretty cool. Doors open at 11, and it's free. So check that out. And of course, another way to support us is those super chats, which we've been reading. And we will do a fun fact for every super chat, at least $5 and above, for your pleasure. And last but not least, I need to thank the amazing, stupendous, fantastic crew that helped make this show happen every single week. And there's our crew. And oh man, is that a dragon up there? AJ's got a dragon. That's pretty crazy. Didn't know we had dragons on the crew, but that's a thing now. So all you dragon haters, dragon non-believers, they exist. We just showed you video evidence of it, I guess. On that note, let's go ahead and go to our next caller. We have Dee, who's calling in from Iowa. Dee, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Hi, Dan. Hey, Kelley. So I was listening to you all talk about nostalgia and, points in your life that helped you grow. And I was struck by how differently Christians and atheists tend to look at the turning points of their life. When I got into fundamentalism, and I first joined the church and came to, be accepted in, I was at one of those pivotal points in my life, and it was a really, really, really bad time. And as I became more integrated into the congregation, they started appropriating my growth from those experiences. They started appropriating them and using them to glorify God rather than allowing me to fully experience, growing and becoming wiser as a result of that. And then you and Kelley were saying, that these pivotal points in your lives were your growth points, and you've been able to take ownership of that and be a better person through it, and understand and accept that, and be proud.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, in my experience in my church, I used to work as a pump jockey at a truck stop on the night shift, and you can imagine some of the people that would come through there, very needy people, and I kind of built a very small sort of ministry, buy somebody a hot meal, let them take shelter in the the utility room. One girl had like a newborn; she was homeless. I let her hang out back there, and I would do all of this on my own. And I would witness. But I wasn't forceful with it. My thing was take these souls and help them however I can for a few hours. And my employer and best friend and mentor found out about what I was doing, and she chastised me for not bringing the rest of the church into it to share in the glory that I was giving to God through my witness and my works. And I always just thought, Jesus, and that's what Christianity is. It's appropriating so much of our humanity and giving it over to this being that doesn't give anything back. And I just found that a very profound contrast.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I think I tend to agree with you there, especially with fundamentalist Christianity, right? Like, it's not about the human moments you share with people at the end of the day. It's about, did you win souls over for Jesus? Are they going to heaven? I remember I used to work at a Christian summer camp as a camp counselor, and our measurement of success at the end of the week was, well, how many kids dedicated their lives to Christ? We actually kept count every week, so we could see what was working with the program and what wasn't, right, and how effective we were with bringing kids over. And there's like a weird thing happening there, because it's like you're using these modern applications of data science to do this conversion for kids, right? And it's just salesmanship at the end of the day. It's just capitalism. It's selling the product, and it's not about the stuff that happens afterwards. That kid could grow up and become, I don't know, a notorious drug dealer. It didn't matter. We got him while he was 13 at the camp. That seemed to be the most important thing. Mm-hmm. I got to invest a little bit in kids' lives for like a week, and then we just let them go. That was a big thing when I left youth group. It was like, wow, suddenly all these people I hung out with, I don't get to hang out with them anymore, I guess, and keep the relationships with people. I don't know, or can, but it can't be in that kind of context. Like, I don't know. It's not great. It's not great.
No, it's not. It's not. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to share that, because that, listening to you and Kelley talk about that, it kind of touched me pretty deeply, and just wanted to share that with y'all.
I how you were talking about how your failures and experiences have shaped you, and I'm thinking you and I are both a little bit older, and I started thinking of that scene from Jaws where they're showing off the scars. Look at this bad thing that happened to me, and yet we still, we look back on these things as things that were good for us, with that sense of nostalgia. Oh, I got to come up with an interesting fact. Do you know that it takes a drop of water 90 days to travel the entire Mississippi River?
Oh, that is an interesting fact. Thank you, Luke Riley, for the donation.
Thank you.
Ah, that was interesting. Huh.
Hmm.
You guys are bringing it. I love it.
Thanks. Thanks,
I
Dee.
do too. I love this idea. This is awesome.
Happy to deliver interesting facts for a good cause, that being donations to the atheist community of Austin. Tax deductible, by the way. Tax deductible. Well, actually, I don't know if the super chats are. I think direct donations are. I don't know. But anyway, don't want to spread misinformation. Sorry about that. Regardless, I'm glad that you can still find some nostalgia for the good times too, Dee, or at least I hope you can.
You bet.
Now, you mentioned that was your motivation back in those days. Now, when you do something like that today, what's your motivation today?
Yeah, good question.
What's my motivation today is to alleviate suffering.
Yeah.
I mean, you were doing that before, but you were doing it for God. You just do it just out of the goodness of your heart now because that's the right thing to do.
Maybe her argument is she's never actually changed in that regard.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, sure. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, you're pretty much right, Dan, because the last few years of my working life I spent in customer service, and I particularly sought out jobs where I would be helping people with their Medicare programs, their Medicare plans, helping them, get through the I obviously there'd be people calling out some treatment got denied, some medication got denied, and I was meeting these people at their most vulnerable and doing everything that I could to turn it around for them.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Doing that? Yes. You should be proud of that. That sounds like a hard job, helping with people's Medicare stuff. I mean, that's really important.
It was challenging, but at the same time, it was very rewarding because every once in a while I get an opportunity to, just talk one-on-one while I'm working a problem, and we just be talking, and I would say something, and this person would be like, "Oh my God, you really get it." You're almost as if nobody had ever actually heard them, and I loved that part of making that connection, and I think that's always been who I am. And
I like it, Dee. You can be good without God. You can find your own intrinsic motivations to do good things. You don't need to have a higher power to tell you what to do about it. And is it subjective? Sure. Right? Is it self-fulfilling? In a way, it could be, but you're still doing good stuff, right? And that's really what I care about at the end of the day. I think that's what a lot of people care about at the end of the day. Not everybody, obviously, but if we're gonna shoot towards something, I think that's a pretty good thing to shoot for. So I really appreciate that, Dee. Anything else? Because we do gotta get to some other callers here. But was there anything else you want to share before we let you go?
I was just gonna say one more thing is that I've heard some of you guys talk to people who say basically that they do good works because they are afraid of hell. And my thought here is, if that's your motivation, then just do us all a favor and don't even bother, because you can't count on those types of people to do the right thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
that's an interesting comment.
You can probably count on them to do the right thing for themselves.
Yeah, maybe right thing for themselves. Yeah,
they would do the right thing because they thought it would be the best thing for them to do, right?
Right, which might include benefits for other people, but maybe not
Right.
always. Yeah. I think I
It's
agree
sort
with
of
that.
like it's sort of like I always say, I'm a selfish altruist, right? Because it's kind of a ridiculous phrase. I always explain it because that every time I do something to make the world a better place for somebody, I also make it a better place for me. So
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, Dee, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for commenting. Especially, I love it. Oh my God. Sorry, there's a chat here. The Joker is Wild says there's a face on Uranus and you're covering it up. Reveal the truth to us now, live on there. I think that was $5 Canadian for that. Thank you for that donation. And my fact is Australia is wider than the moon. Did you know that? Wow, that's what this website says. I'll believe anything I see on the internet. I mean, that's that's pretty much my whole brand, I think. But anyway,
you didn't believe those alien photos last week.
No, I didn't believe that. That's true. Dee, thanks so much for calling in and relating to our story about nostalgia, and hope you have a great rest of your weekend. What I was going to say too is I love it when callers call us about the topics that we're already talking about, like in the beginning of the show. Those are like really good, I feel like, because I do want to talk to people about the stuff we're talking about. That's why I do it. In fact, why I bring it up, because I want to make it accessible for anybody that wants to talk to us. But yeah, that's an interesting link there about nostalgia and the Christian perspective on that. Well, Christianity, they say you don't want to look back because you want to look forward towards, heaven and stuff too. There's that element. I don't know, Kelley.
Yeah. I am just agreeing with you right now. I always wonder why people, when I see a lot of people, I do wonder what their motivations are. If they really are just being a good person because they're trying to save their own soul. I'm only being good for me, right? That being an actual selfish altruist, right? Right. That's why I brought that up. I'm only being good because I know it's going to help me in the end. I'm going to go to heaven because I was good to you.
But you also, I don't know, you do things for other people that will outlive yourself. You do things for your family,
most people, I'll see that. I guess we all have that sense of this is our little tribe and that we're always going to take care of those people that are in our little circle, right? It's going beyond that, right? To, like Dee was talking about, helping people with their Medicare, it's going beyond that and helping out people that you don't know, that as I said at the beginning of the show, being that small person holding up that tiny candle in the dark corner,
Yeah, that's I think a good thing. I think it's just it just comes down to our biology a lot of times, and that's a scary thing for people because they're like, well, that means that morality isn't objective. And yeah, I'm not somebody who believes morality is objective. I'm somebody who thinks that it's mostly socially constructed, and that's why I do think, by the way, that people who tend to do the most heinous crimes tend to also exhibit other antisocial activity, right? Like there's a correlation there because there's something different about some people's biology. That is just a fact when it comes to that kind of thing. People think and want to do things that I do not want to do, period. But they do for one reason or another. And it does make me pause when we talk about the way that we handle our whole criminal justice system and whatnot. But that's a whole other conversation. Outside of our scope. Eli is fighting with me right now. He's saying that the moon is not as wide as Australia. Eli, you think they would do that? Just go out and lie on the internet? Oh wait, he's saying. Oh, okay. He's saying he's agreeing. Okay.
I actually thought you said whiter.
You're right. You are agreeing. I thought you flipped that around. I thought you were saying.
You said, I just checked into it because I was like, I've never heard that before. And you questioned it. So yeah, the width of the moon is about 3,400 kilometers. And the width of Australia is just under 4,000.
Is that accounting for like
freedom units?
Yeah, how much in freedom units? How many football fields is that?
How many washing machines?
How many?
I think about 340 football fields and about 400. No, that's not right. Yeah, 400.
Interesting.
Something along those lines.
Right there.
Yards and kilometers are pretty close together. So
does that account for the curvature of like both things? I guess width, if it's like a 3D object. How are they doing that? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. One of those was
This
an
all could be
AI
not
overview
real.
response. So yeah, it was an AI overview response. So also I
Oh,
misspoke. I said
you did an AI over. Come on,
well, no,
Eli. Come on.
The width of the moon came from. Oh, actually, no. The European Space Agency says the same thing. European Space Agency gives both of those widths. So European Space Agency is better than an AI overview, I think.
Okay.
Did they
all
have
right.
any alien photos? Or
Are
photos
there,
that
are
were
there
based
aliens
on
in
Mars?
Australia?
Not on Australia or the moon. There's no alien photos.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for the fact check, Eli. I
you got it.
appreciate that.
No problem.
Doing your thing there. Oh gosh. Okay, let's move on with the rest of our program here. We have Daisy from Washington, Seattle, wants to talk to us about allegedly Ian's debate with Jordan Peterson. Or did that happen, or is this something you want to see happen, Daisy? I haven't heard of this. If this did happen.
Okay, it did happen. There's a channel called Jubilee, and
he was. Wait, I've been seeing everybody talk about that Jubilee video. Is allegedly Ian in that? I haven't actually watched it.
He was.
Oh, that's awesome! That's so cool. I love that for him.
Yeah, he went face to face with Jordan Peterson, and I don't know if you know much about Jordan Peterson, but he was doing the Jordan Peterson.
Wait, Eli! Oh my God, Eli's reminding me. Wait, did we have a conversation about it on the show? I don't even remember that we did. That he talked about. Wow. Okay, I'm misremembering. Man, my memory's shit these days. I literally just talked to allegedly Ian.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's okay. It was before the show. That's why he was talking. I was like, I don't remember talking about that on air, but yeah. Okay, I think we did talk about that. Thanks. See, Eli's fact checking hard today. Oh my God. No, I know way too much about Jordan Peterson. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I know about like his weird kids book that he wrote one time. I know about the dreams that he had about doing stuff with his grandma. I know way too much, like I said. So none of them good things. But anyway, what were you gonna say, Daisy?
He did like the all. Oh, I was just gonna say that. Allegedly Ian did like an amazing job at dismantling this person, and Jordan Peterson proved himself to be yet again the master of dodging the question in an unjustifiable way. Like every single time he was asked something, like he would be asked a question. He would ask him a question do you think that the morality of the Bible is correct or something like that? And he would be like, what do you mean by morality? He would never answer the question directly. And, his question on the Jubilee that Ian came up and very, very fast. Like in Jubilee, the format is that the contestants have to like run to the chair and touch it first. And Ian absolutely sprinted to the chair when this question was asked.
That's so funny.
The question was, atheists accept Christian morality, but deny the religion's foundational stories. That was what Jordan Peterson asked. And then he was surrounded by 20 atheists, and they were supposed to say, originally the title of the video was like 20 atheists versus 1 Christian. But there's all this drama about how like Jordan Peterson went in there and said like, oh no, I'm not a Christian. Like, no, I'm not necessarily a Christian, not necessarily not a Christian, or this kind of thing. And he actually got them to change the title of the video to like 20 atheists versus Jordan Peterson.
Yes.
Not versus a Christian.
I did hear that. That happened. Yeah, that video's popped up in my recommended, and I've seen some people talk about it. I'll be honest, Jubilee videos, they make me so unreasonably frustrated that I haven't watched some in a while, because it's like, the last one I watched was that doctor guy talking about the COVID vaccinations and stuff. And I was just so upset at that video that I could and that's what they're designed to do, right? Like, it's the format. I get it. But I was like, oh, if this makes the atheist community look bad, that's just going to make me even more mad. So I haven't watched it yet, but maybe I should watch it now since allegedly Ian is in that video. That's so funny.
The only two that I would recommend is there is that one. You should watch that one. I think it is really good because there was actually there was a lot of really good atheists on there. There was some bad ones, but not bad ones, but people that couldn't really represent
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, atheists are all different. So, like, you can't judge, like, based on just being an atheist. Like, everybody has different senses of morality, of course. But,
Yeah.
like, there was the other one that I would recommend is the one with Sam Cedar. That was a really good one. It was 20.
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
Sam Cedar.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I've seen that one.
I thought that one was
And
good.
yeah, that one was a pretty good one. Yeah, I guess maybe that one did come out the doctor one. Maybe I have seen. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while, but like I kept hearing about that Jubilee video. That sounds pretty good. I wish Jubilee asked me to come on. I go talk to him. You know, let's see what's up.
Yeah,
But
let's make this a thing.
that's what I'm saying. You know, who's got connections? Somebody hook me up. Maybe I gotta ask Ian about it. You know, but I don't know. They probably
because you got his number, right?
I mean, he's been. I have his contact information. He's been on the show, so yeah, maybe I need to. I don't know. The thing is, Daisy, I don't want to be that guy.
All of us, every single one of us atheist activists know each other. We all
That's
hang
true.
out at the same street
There's always a
corner.
couple degrees of separation,
Yes.
and for me especially, because the conceit of this show is that we always usually try to have guests. So I've just talked to a lot of people, and I never, people ask me, hey, do you know someone? Can you get me in touch? And sometimes I do it, but it's always kind of annoying. And then I got to be that guy sometimes where it's like, hey, I saw you had that person. Can I get it? So it's all incestuous. It's all kind of like that. So maybe I see what's up. I tried to, maybe I shouldn't tell that story. Actually, I don't know. I know somebody who knows the voice actor for Goku. And I've asked them several times if we could get Goku on the show because he's been on another call-in show. But anyway, we have a super chat, $5 Canadian from the Joker as well. There's a face on Uranus and you're covering it up. And once again, I didn't get, but reveal the truth to us now live on air. But there's a face on, we're covering it up. How do we reveal the truth on that? I don't know. Hey, everybody, there's a face on Uranus and we're covering it up. There we go. I guess I revealed the truth. Fun facts. Let's see. Fun facts. The specks on strawberries are single seeds called achenes. Achenes? Achenes. I think that's achenes.
Like they're individual organisms. Like the seeds on strawberries are actually like little tiny bugs.
They're tiny bugs? Don't tell me that. Oh, no. That's a negative fact. Sure. I don't like that. I'm going to do another fact to cover up the negative fact. Lemons float in water, but limes sink. So there you go. There's a fact for you.
That's weird.
Yeah. But thank you for the super chat. Yeah, Daisy, what were you going to say?
I only had a couple more things to say. The other one was the thing that Ian was arguing, which I thought was extremely good. And he like, you have to watch at least a clip just with Ian in it because he like really like rapid fire just made so many amazing arguments right in Jordan Peterson's face. His first argument was that to the question, right, he asked, atheists accept Christian morality but deny the religious foundational stories, which is so bad. But Ian responded, first off, he said God condones people as property. He condones genocide. He cited the Bible, like he cited the verses in which God supposedly does those things, and then he asked, "Are those things in line with Christian ethics?" And of course, Jordan Peterson was like, "No," but he's trapped in a box at that point, right?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because Matt Dillahunty did a debate with Jordan Peterson. And I've seen Matt's other debates, and I got to say, to Matt's credit, his debate with Jordan Peterson, in my opinion, is the best one I've seen from him because I think he really nailed Jordan Peterson to the wall for that exact same thing that you're talking about, because Jordan Peterson is the most wiggly wobbly person who will say he's a Christian, but he doesn't define what that means. And for a guy who rants about postmodernism, he has the most postmodern take on Christianity you could possibly hear because he doesn't have that foundations. I don't know if it's a lack of knowledge of theology, right? I mean, I know he has these lectures that go on and on about like Jungian symbolism and stuff, but like that's not Christianity, right? So does he have a sincere belief that a Jewish carpenter rose from the dead 2,000 years ago and saved humanity. I honestly don't think he can intellectually defend that. And so he doesn't really conceive his religion that way, even though like that is what Christianity is, right? At least to most of us. So yeah, I don't know. That doesn't surprise me that he would be that way. So
his wife is devoutly Catholic. Is she not?
Maybe, I don't know.
I
don't
am
know
pretty
his wife
sure.
like that.
I am pretty sure that she had a regression from cancer and attributes it to a miracle from God and is a devoutly Catholic. That's why when Peterson talks about this stuff and he denies it, it's really weird to me because his wife is so religious and so Christian.
Yeah, well, it's not weird to me. I mean, he has a fan base that's really into that. He's trying to play into it's a market that he's tapped into, and he's done lectures on the Bible. I've seen some of those. But
see, maybe that's why it seems weird to me, because I couldn't morally do that. It would be weird for me to do that. That I would play to something, to a market instead of what I actually believed in.
yeah, well,
So that's
we
why
all
it
have to
seems
remember
weird to me.
that the reason why Jordan Peterson became famous in the first place is because of like anti-trans opinions in Canada and stuff, right? Like against the school systems and stuff there. So like, you know, he's never had the best intentions in mind, I think, for a lot of us. But no, I didn't like seeing that video too, because like, man, Jordan Peterson, are we still talking about this guy? Like, oh, he's back in the spotlight again, because inevitably there's going to be people that think he did amazing and stuff, right? So I don't know, Daisy. It's annoying, you know?
Well, yeah. But I think that like he did so poorly that I think that even if some of his own supporters would probably push back on a lot of the things, because his supporters are, you know who they are.
Yeah.
And they
right.
they are very convicted people. They have convictions, not convicted like in terms of jail, but like they have convictions.
Sure.
And I think a lot of what he did there with this sort of like sidestepping around every question that he was basically asked on the entire show, like it makes all of them look really bad. And if they don't necessarily recognize that, that's on them. But I think that a lot of them would recognize that even in the state of their propagandist minds, that they feel those things in. And Ian brought up afterwards. He brought up the problem in the Bible about the Amalekites,
right.
and what was said about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to reference it here, but I'm saying,
teaching people about what the contents of their own religion, right? It's the classic, but effective atheist tactic in some ways. I think some people are real hyperbolic about it. I trust that Ian was probably pretty descriptive of it. But yeah, if maybe there'll be more atheists because of a video like that. I don't know. That's why it's hard to criticize Jubilee, because it at least probably does open up some people to other perspectives. The problem is they do platform like a lot of I don't want Jordan Peterson to get more popular. Like I really don't. It's not in my best interest. It's not in a lot of people's best interest. So it is kind of I don't know. It's a catch-22. Either way, Jubilee makes the money, right? They bring in all the ad revenue and stuff. So
of course they do, but I think that Peterson was like really just tarred and feathered in this video, and
well, that's good to hear. That's worth celebrating.
I just wanted to give my applause to Ian, and because I was able to talk to him previously on the show, I just wanted to give my thumbs up and my heart to out to him for going through that, because Jordan Peterson actually looked like this mean supervillain right at him, like literally 2 feet from his face, and that must have been hard to go through. So I'm really appreciative of that, and I won't take up any more time, but I just wanted to lay that on the line, or on the questions wanted.
Thanks, Daisy. Thanks for talking about that, because I've definitely seen that video. Have you seen that video, Kelly? Have you heard people talk about it? Because
I've heard a lot of talk about it. I'll be honest with you, I've purposely not watched it.
Yeah,
because I don't want to give Peterson any support whatsoever. So I purposely not watched it, but I've heard a lot of people are talking about it just within the last few days in the 24/7 AXP chat. It was quite the conversation on there. So,
well, Kelley, if you worry about not giving him views, there are websites that can take YouTube videos and you don't necessarily contribute to the YouTube video count. So
yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get
if that's your quandary, there's ways around that. For me,
you
I just
mean-
didn't want to have a bad day. You know what I
You
mean?
mean the technology has changed and gotten better in the last
I'm just
few
saying.
years?
I'm just saying. If your thing is I don't want to give people any more view counts, that's totally reasonable, and there's tools for that. There's tools for that. So, anyway, Daisy, thanks for calling in. We appreciate you, and hope to hear from you again in the future. And yeah, I'll have to maybe ask Ian about that more. I must not. I think because I came in a bit late during our checkup when Ian was here. I was like. So I wonder if he told that story beforehand, because Eli's saying he remembers him telling about it, and he probably told us not to talk about it. I think because that video was not out yet.
I wasn't here at all that day either. I was out sick that day, and Eli stood in for me. So yeah,
that was a good show. You guys should watch the Truth One episode with me and allegedly Ian.
It was a good show.
I really enjoyed that. On that note, Kelley, there's a Discord. There's a fan-run Discord server that maybe you and I will be showing up in a little bit.
I think Eli's going to join us too.
I think Eli's going to join us too.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to, I think. And, normally this is the part where I say, hey, thanks for being on. And where can people find you at? But Kelley, they can find you right here.
Right here. And you can also find me on the nonprofits. I'll be there all next week.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely do that. If you want to see nonprofits, we don't talk about nonprofits enough on here, but if you never seen it, it's another show that's not a call-in show. One of our ones that
it is the flagship show, the ACA. And in my opinion, which is not really, actually, my opinion is worth a hell of a lot. I'm probably a pretty sharp guy. I think it's the most socially relevant show the ACA produces, and everybody should watch it.
I think that's true. And if you like Kelly's on there even more than he makes appearances on there more and talks more on there more usually than he does on Truth Wanted. So that's a good way to watch more Kelley content if you're a Kelley stan. I don't know. On that note, I want to also thank Eli for being on the show as our backup. Thanks, Eli. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. That was a fun one.
If I need to know how wide the moon is compared to other sovereign nations, I'm gonna message you first.
Yeah, hit me up.
You're on speed dial, bud.
Okay, I got you. I'll say too, I didn't remember Ian telling us about that episode until I saw it on YouTube, and then I saw him in the preview, and I was like, oh, that's Ian. Oh, right, he told us about this, and you're right, it wasn't out yet, so we didn't say anything.
He must have, because I don't think I heard about it, but if he did, he probably told us not to talk about it, which I'm sure he did. But anyway, now it's out there, so that's cool. Good for him. Then
maybe I shouldn't have said that. Who knows?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter now because
we didn't release
it. Also, I didn't remember it. I don't know if I was there or not because I don't remember. But anyway, if you like allegedly Ian, watch our show with him.
Yeah, that was a good.
It was a really good episode.
Anyway, not to plug our own stuff for too much longer, but one thing I didn't mention earlier, you can also join to become a member. That's one of the things you get extra stuff in the chat if you want to do that. We don't want to talk about that.
It only costs 99 cents too.
Only costs 99 cents, baby. 99 cents a month.
What the fuck? It's only $1.
Crazy. Before we end tonight's program, though, Eli, can you remind us what the question this week was?
I certainly can. It is, what is the, I have it here, the least appropriate introduction for door-to-door soul winning?
Yes.
Leave it in the comments.
Least appropriate introduction. I know you guys are creative in that chat, okay? I know it. Don't let Chuck Gatos have the spotlight every week. Very creative, Chuck Gatos, but, you got to take it from him. Give him a run
some
for
competition.
Give him a run for their money.
Yeah, totally. Give him a run for your money.
And on that note, folks, I think
Chuck,
it's time.
Give everybody else a run for their money too. That doesn't mean you shouldn't.
No, Chuck should always keep going. I don't want to stop Chuck. I want to get other people to get to Chuck's level.
And now Chuck is going to bring the heat.
That's right.
Because now we know that there's some heat coming for him.
Chuck's gonna be like, I'm gonna post like 10 answers today. Like he's just gonna be,
38 comments and 25 of them are Chuck Gatos.
Right. Anyway, we're gonna go to the after show, tiny.cc/ACD Discord if you want to join us and hang out with us for a little bit. But until next time, folks, I'm Objectively Dan. This has been another episode of Truth Wanted. Remember to always keep wanting the truth. I'll see you next time.
Watch the non-profits and join the hosts in the live chat. Visit tiny.cc/YTNP.